Ontario, and every day we are sharing science-based psychology in my YouTube channel. Today we will be continuing to discuss about anxiety, what causes anxiety, what might be some reasons we feel so anxious. Of course, these videos cannot be accepted as treatment. They are just in the purposes of informing people to increase self-awareness and to become aware of which treatments might be possible, available for you. And anxiety is often misunderstood. When people feel anxious, they tend to think something is going wrong. A more accurate sentence would be, my body has perceived something as important and threatening. And these are not the same thing. Anxiety is an alarm, but not a verdict. The fact that alarm is sounding doesn't prove that there is a fire or there is something dangerous. And today we will talk about how to understand anxiety without turning it into an enemy and without handing it in the steering wheel of our lives. So think about, for instance, cases that make you feel anxious, and how much control does anxiety over you, and how you would like it to be. Maybe when you are trying to perform, when you are at work, when you are trying to drive, to create, to study, anxiety is visiting you, and how much control does it has over your life, and how you would like to react to it instead, which relationship you would like to have with anxiety, and what you would like to achieve, which version of you would like to see even if anxiety is present. Because anxiety and other uncomfortable feelings are a sign of being human, and we cannot delete them completely. They are a sign of being human, and if we are living, if we are caring, it's inevitable that we will have anxiety at certain level. However, understanding how much impact it has on us, and realizing how much power does anxiety has over you, and setting goals for yourself is the first step towards awareness and change. From an evolutionary perspective, anxiety is a system that prepares us for possible threats. It tries to protect us from dangers. It anticipates danger, concentrates attention, and mobilizes your body. And maybe your heart rate increases, breathing changes, muscle tense, and digestion might slow. These sensations can be uncomfortable, but at a basic level, they are the body's message to prepare, and they are trying to keep you safe. And difficulty is that in modern life, this alarm system can be activated repeatedly by social evaluation, uncertainty, emails, exams, sometimes relationship misunderstanding, health news, or financial stress. And anxiety is signal and anxiety is story. What's the difference? The signal is body sensation, such as heart race, the heartbeat is racing, your chest feels tight, the stomach knots, and the story is the meaning the mind adds. Like, you have the first reaction in the form of anxiety or a thought, then you are interpreting it, you are having certain opinion about this reaction or thought or the symptom, and oftentimes these are automatic. You even don't realize that this is just a thought, or this is a feeling, and when the automatic reaction happens, you might get fused with these thoughts, with interpretation, with meaning you create about physical symptoms, thoughts, or feelings, and at that point, anxiety might increase. Maybe you say, if my heart is racing, I will faint. If my heart is racing, I will have a heart attack. If I'm anxious, I will fail. If I feel this way, I cannot stay here. And actually, this secondary interpretation considerably changes your behavior. If you don't realize that this are just your commands about anxiety, the feeling, or the thought, you get fused, and you start to feel as if this is a real story, this is a reality. And transformation often begins not by eliminating the signal, but changing relationship with the story. So, for instance, successful people are able to interpret the uncomfortable feelings, anxiety, or thoughts as a signal that they care, that this is important for them, and that's one factors how they use anxiety to contribute to their change, to their success. And when you imagine the difference when you see anxiety as something bad, and you start to catastrophize and think that you might have a heart attack, or you might have faint, your focus, you shift your focus on the trouble, on possibility, and maybe if this possibility is just 1%, focusing on it will decrease your performance, will make it more difficult for you to stay focused on your work. But when you see it as just information that is trying to tell you that whatever you are doing at this moment is important for you, that you care about it, and also you can see it as an excitement. I'm getting excited about my work. This time, these thoughts and interpretation will not make you even more scared, and you can still focus on your work, on your performance, and that's the difference. For instance, let's say there is someone called Anna, and she is experiencing intense anxiety before speaking in meetings, and she has all these symptoms of anxiety. Her heart races, she has worries that her voice will shake, and as a result, even when she writes down her ideas, she doesn't share them in the meeting with the public, and in short term she feels relieved, relaxed about it, and it feels good. But in the long run, this would make challenges in her success. But in the meeting, in the long term, her confidence would fall. Her contribution at work will remain unseen. And the story, I'm someone who cannot speak, would become stronger, and maybe she would start to believe that she is really a failure and she cannot succeed. And since she's not experimenting, she's not trying anything new, this would make her feel stuck in this cycle. And safety behavior is an important in anxiety itself. A safety behavior like avoidance is something a person does to reduce anxiety, to not to feel anxiety. And however, in a long run, this would be maintaining anxiety, because anytime when you are avoiding certain things, your brain starts to code it as it's something that you need to feel scared of it, and your brain understands it. If you are avoiding all the time, there should be a real danger. As a result, this cycle is perpetuated and it gets difficult to get out of it. For Anna, this might mean remaining silent, over rehearsing, avoiding eye contact, or waiting for her heart to become completely calm before speaking. So what's happening is that whenever you feel scared, you feel anxious, before that there is a trigger that occurs. It can be an event, for instance, chaos, stress, conflict, and then your body starts to interpret it as an alarm, and the mind makes a catastrophe interpretation, thinks about the worst, and the person avoids or uses a safety behavior, avoidance, and in the short run, if it helps you, and your brain learns, I escaped because I avoided, and as a result, alarm may activate earlier and strongly the next time, and this cycle can appear in different forms. The same formula is available in panic, social anxiety, health anxiety, performance anxiety, and generalized worry. And in anxiety disorders, in cognitive behavioral therapy, exposure-based approaches, psychoeducation, and medications, when appropriate, all have strong evidence support. And acceptance commitment therapy can also offer useful framework for avoidance and psychological flexibility related to anxiety. And solution-focused brief therapy is found one of the shortest and efficient ways of treating anxiety, dealing with anxiety. However, my YouTube videos cannot diagnose and does not replace individualized treatments. Therefore, if you are having frequent panic attacks, if you are having severe anxiety, or you are having trauma symptoms, thoughts of self-harm, it's always important to refer to a specialist and to receive the needed care. So while trying to delete anxiety, eliminate anxiety, can backfire. When people say, I mustn't feel anxious, I don't want to feel this way, your mind starts monitoring anxiety, and it scans every small sensation in the body and constantly checking, has it gone, is it still there, is it increasing? And this monitoring keeps the alarm active. Once we become afraid of anxiety itself, a second layer develops, anxiety about anxiety. So you get anxious about anxiety, you get anxious about anxiety symptoms. That's why some people become more exhausted, not by the first wave of anxiety, but by the thought that anxiety is going to destroy me. So trying to reduce anxiety is not wrong. It's understandable that this feeling is uncomfortable and you don't want to feel it. But when you consider it, I must feel calm first. And when you start waiting to feel calm, to act, to live, to create, to do things, freedom becomes smaller, and you found yourself uh, in a small place where you don't try anything new, you feel scared, and you are just living in your own bubble. So instead of saying I will speak when my anxiety is gone, it can be transformative to say I will practice one small step and act of speaking while anxiety is present. And taking small steps even when you feel scared, when you feel anxious, actually will help you to increase your confidence and to experiment. And this time, when you are taking steps even in the presence of discomfort, you are teaching your brain that this situation is not as scary as you thought, this situation is not as dangerous, and slowly anxiety will decrease. And when we consider solution-focused brief therapy perspective, we are first of all asking the client how they would like to feel instead, what they would like to experience instead, and instead of focusing on the function of anxiety or trying to understand what caused anxiety, we are directly going into solutions and asking how you would like to feel instead, which version of you would like to see. And their answers, people's answers differ according uh, people's answers considerably differ. Some people want to be calm, some people want to be contributing, active, social, confident. And we are specifically focusing on the version of the person that they want to become, and we are digging deeper into identity transformation and helping the person to realize what difference would it make for them to be that version of them, what impact would it have on other people. And we are considering instances when they already achieved their goals in the past, when this version of them showed up in different domains, and we are searching for resources and qualities that the person might have used, and that can be helpful again for achieving that version. And this helps the person to realize that they are not lazy or they are not an anxious person. This expands their sense of self, and they realize that during different times, depending on circumstances, they were able to relate to stresses differently, to respond to them differently. And we are examining in details what contributed to it, which environments, which people, which habits, which thinking, what mindset, what feelings, experiments, like what exactly was there that contributed to it, made it possible, and what difference did it make for other people around them? How did they notice that they were that version of them? And then we are slowly shifting into description of the person whom they want to be, and slowly walking the person from the morning till the evening, helping them to think about how it might look like to be already that person. And once the person is able to go into their desired version in their thoughts, and when they are able to find solutions for them in imagination, it will be easier to co-create the reality in real life in the times of reality, like in real life. So, and we are leaving the person with description of the future. We are not forcing to have any assignment, and we are not asking have they completed their assignment, because this might make them feel shy or blame themselves. We are just asking in the next session what's been better, where did you see the preferred version of you during this week, and this helps them to pay attention to exceptions again, to the moments that created progress. And sometimes Uh, uh, so, are there any moments when you notice that your anxiety is decreasing? Maybe it's not hiding, it's not eliminating 100%. What's being different on days when it's slightly more manageable? Maybe your sleep is different, maybe your caffeine consumption is different, maybe your preparation makes difference, maybe you have more support, social connections, environment, time of the day, maybe you are approaching your thoughts or yourself differently, maybe your body posture changes. So what exactly helps you to feel less anxious during the times when anxiety is decreasing? And considering community and migration concepts, we are living in a country with different backgrounds, cultures, and people are constantly migrating. And during these circumstances, during these moments, there are a lot of challenges that they might be experiencing. And it would be incomplete to interpret to see anxiety of someone experiencing displacement, migration, uncertainty, or a health condition, a serious health condition, discrimination, only as a cognitive distortion, because sometimes anxiety is understandable response to real uncertainty and lack of safety. Therefore, culturally responsive clinical approaches evaluate anxiety without automatically pathologizing it, and rather than saying anxiety is like you are feeling anxious and this is irrational, we can ask which real burden is this alarm connected to. Maybe they are real situations, or maybe it's a trauma response, and we can ask which real burden is this alarm connected to, which part reflects a need for protection, which part is now shrinking the person's life. That distinction is very important. Now, now let's go into three-step practice called reading the alarm exercise. So if we see when anxiety is activated, if we see it as an alarm, in the step one, we can name it in the body, and we can notice right now I feel tightness in my chest, or my heart is rising, right? And we can see just as information instead of catastrophizing and thinking about worst case scenarios that I might have a heart attack or I might faint. Just try to see it as an information that is telling you that there is something that's important for you. And name the mind story. Tell my mind is telling me the story that I will embarrass myself. And when you formulate it in this way, you will able to notice it as just a story, as just a thought, and this will not reflect the reality. And the next one, identify behavior you can choose. So what are you generally doing when anxiety is arising? Are you overeating? Are you sleeping? Are you arguing? What's the smallest action I can take in line with what matters while this alarm is present? And these three steps, they do not erase anxiety. It's not possible to delete or erase anxiety, but they move the person out of automatic reaction, and they create psychological flexibility and freedom for you to learn to react to these symptoms, thoughts and feelings differently, the way that you want to respond. And this explains the logics behind safe exposure. Exposure doesn't mean forcing someone into traumatic memories in everyday anxiety cycles. It means gradually approaching situations that are avoided but objectively safe. For instance, in social anxiety, instead of going directly into a large stage, if a person is experiencing social anxiety and if it's difficult for them to perform on a stage, you may start by talking to your friends or on the mirror or recording yourself, and then slowly increase the exposure and eventually to start speaking on the stage. And each time when you are gradually exposing yourself, you are helping your brain to learn that I can move through this situation even when anxiety is present. And this will help to increase your confidence, and your brain will slowly learn that this situation is not as scary, as anxious as I thought. For instance, choose one area of anxiety, write 5 behaviors you avoid, and try, like in the sessions, we are doing similar strategies and exercises, and try to write 3 things, 5 things that you are avoiding, starting from the most feared one and gradually turning into list. And start with the least feared situation and slowly increase the exposure. And this gradual exposure helps you to stay with the discomfort. But if you will try to do it all of them at once from the most feared situation, you may fail, and this would might make you feel shameful. You might feel bad about it, and you might avoid the treatment at all. So make the goal as simple, as small as possible, so that you won't avoid, you won't procrastinate, and stay in that situation that's uncomfortable for you for 2 minutes, even when anxiety is at 4, and ask yourself, what did I learn? And oftentimes my patients are saying that it wasn't as scary as they thought, and they gained confidence. But be careful even when giving breathing exercises, like when we are suggesting breathing exercises. For some people, breathing exercises might be uncomfortable and they can create even more anxiety. That's why not all the strategies are suitable for everyone. So trying, testing, experimenting, and finding what's suitable for you is the first step towards change. And when anxiety appears, try asking yourself, is this feeling proof of danger, or is it an alarm signal? And what need might this alarm be showing me? And preparation, maybe support, maybe rest, maybe eating differently, practice professional plan. And finally ask, while this alarm is present, what small behavior would expand my life and would carry me towards towards the towards the best version of me. I tried to share with you the main strategies that we are using while working with anxiety and helping the people to succeed despite stress, challenges, difficulties. I hope that this was useful for you. It was useful a way of spending your time. If you want to learn more about these strategies, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications, and see you in the next videos again.